Hello, welcome to the Uplifting Talk Show. I'm so excited today. I have some wonderful people here in the studio that's going to bless you and tell you about some wonderful things that they're doing. But before we get started and before I introduce my guests, I want to introduce to you my co-host for the show, and his name is Apostle and Prophet Dr. Larry Hill, and he is going to be my expert panelist for the month of May, and he's going to be talking from a spiritual perspective on the things that can help us to get to where we need to be. So I want to say hi. Apostle, how are you today?
I am wonderful and so excited about being here.
Good, good. I'm so glad you can join me. You blessed me by being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, no problem. And then also, I have a beautiful lady to my left. Her name is Deanna Moore. This woman is awesome. She does a lot of great things in the community, but she's embarking, or she has embarked upon a foundation that is really going to bless a lot of children and a lot of families. And it is the I Think I Am Foundation. And that foundation is geared to help kids in foster care and kids who have been adopted and their families. But I'm going to let her explain that to you a little bit. Hi, Deanna. How are you today?
Hi, I'm doing great, and thank you so much, Rhonda, for inviting me. I'm really excited about being here today.
Well, thank you. I'm excited about what you're doing. You are just an awesome young lady. I don't know how you find the time. You're an NFL mom. You work a regular job, and you have this foundation. Now, before we start talking about I Think I Am Foundation, I want to learn a little bit about you and what led up to you starting this organization.
Well, first of all, Rhonda, I was given up for adoption at birth myself.
Okay.
And I was placed in a foster care home, and thank God I was able to be adopted out of that foster care home. Okay. But I was still in the foster care environment because my mother made my foster care mother my godmother. Okay. So my godmother, I was still in the home when my mom went to work. My godmother was my child care provider at the time, so I still maintained the relationship with that family. And because of all of the emotional challenges that I had to deal with as a child being given up for adoption, this foundation was started.
Okay.
And
let me ask you a quick question. Now, when you came into foster care, was it as a baby or as a child?
I was given up for adoption at birth.
Okay.
So I went straight from the hospital into a foster care home with no name.
Wow. And
the foster care agency gave me a name. It was Wilma Dean Robinson.
Okay.
Well, they gave me my foster care mother's last name.
Okay. Okay. And so then someone came up and she said, I want to adopt this beautiful baby. And that she did.
Right, and that was William and Fannie Jones.
Okay.
They had been trying to have children for about 11 years. Okay. And in her 10th year of marriage, she had a miscarriage. It was a little boy. Okay. And then they decided, let's just try adopting. So my mom said she went to several foster care homes and got a chance to see a lot of the different children that were there. But when she came and she saw me, that was it. She said, she's the one. I want her. I want her. So
that is awesome. So from your background, it is what encouraged you to do what you're doing now with the I Think I Am Foundation.
Yes,
okay.
Yes. And like I said, some of the challenges that children who've been given up for adoption, a lot of people don't understand unless you're in that situation. And one of the huge challenges I had growing up was being a child, feeling rejection and abandonment, wondering if the people that are in my life are going to leave me, constantly concerned about whether or not one day I would marry my own brother or a cousin, wondering who they are, why they gave me up for adoption, what's the story behind who I am. And I had so many different gifts and talents that God had blessed me with, and there was a constant wonder, where did they come from? Was my mom like this? Was my dad? So, you know, it plays on you quite a bit. And even though I was in an environment where my mother and my father stayed together until I was about 9 years old, and then my father left. And so he left her as a single mom, and she was a maid at the time. But my mother gave me what no mother, I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better mother. that was Mama, and she did whatever she could to make my life, you know, easy as possible, and she loved me unconditionally.
So you were in a very loving environment, but it was just the inner battle that you had, just trying to figure yourself out and wonder who you are.
And that's what I wanted to emphasize, was the fact that you can be in a loving environment and still have challenges, even in that type of an environment.
Yes.
So, and they were very, very real. Although I was still able to succeed in high school, graduated salutatorian. I was the female athlete of the year. I played basketball, volleyball, track and field. I did it all.
Yes,
but
you're
yet
still quite athletic.
I still
We'll talk
do
about
play
that
a
a little.
I still do play some sports. Just had a game a couple of weekends ago. But even with all of the success that I had, I still had those inner emotional challenges that could have been more of a detriment or been more detrimental in my life than they were. But because of the foundation that I had in Fannie Mae Jones, I was able to succeed, you know, in spite of my beginning.
All right. Now, it's something your mom used to say to you all the time. What did she used to always tell you?
She would tell me that you're special.
Okay.
You know, that a lot of families, you know, when the mother gets pregnant, you know, they have to accept who, you know, whatever child they're born with, you know. But she was able to go out and she chose me.
Yes.
And because she chose me, she said that made me special. And so even with those words, I still didn't feel all that special. I felt rejected. I felt abandoned, and I wanted to know why I was given up.
So what would you say to a young person that is listening to your story now that have been adopted or that is in foster care? Now, as a mom myself, I have 5 daughters, and I adopted my 2 younger daughters. But I've always talked to them about their background and their you know, their family and everything like that. So, but what would you say to that person that's sitting home now and they're looking at the story and they're thinking, I feel that way? What would you say to encourage them?
I would say, well, for one of the reasons why I'm in a different place right now than where I was before. One, in spite of what was given me, I was always determined to be the best that I can be in spite of my circumstances.
Okay.
And even though that may be such a really heartfelt emotion and a challenge for us, I looked at other people and some of the things that they were challenged with, and I said, you know what? I'm not going through that. So it's really not that bad. You know, I heard a story earlier today about a woman that you're going to be interviewing later on. My life compared to what someone else has gone through. And those were some of the things that helped me overcome the hump that I had. Even as a child, it was like, well, it doesn't matter. I'm going to still be the best that I can be. I'm going to give life my all and be successful in life. So it was just a choice. And sometimes, even though you have certain emotions that you're dealing with, you have to make a decision, a conscientious decision, that I'm not going to allow this emotional challenge to cause me to fall. I'm going to allow it to cause me to get stronger and be better as a result.
I like that. I like that. I know that same determination and that same thought is what you do with your foundation.
Right.
Now let's talk a little bit further about the foundation. So that was your motivation, and you started I Think I Am. And tell me more about